Iron Gwazi is one of the craziest coasters on Earth, and I'm gonna turn it into a giant functioning model. This is going to be insane, but funny enough, this is my second attempt. 5 years ago, I uploaded my very first video onto this channel. It was an attempt at building Iron Gwazi, and it didn't go well, as you can see here. But 5 years later, with the skills I've learned, I finally feel like I can give this coaster the ending it deserves. The perfect model. Or at least that's what I thought, because I realized I've made a huge mistake. Hey look, it's a giant model of Iron Gwazi. Do you like it? Because I don't. The issues became too big to ignore when I got to this, the Outer Bank. It just doesn't look right.
When you look at this, you say that's an Outer Bank. You don't say that's Iron Gwazi's Outer Bank.
Unfortunately for me, I can't just rebuild this. I have to rebuild pretty much all of this. Oh yeah, and it's all my fault. Fun start to a video, huh? So where did I mess up? Well, this is my first project with bearings, and with that comes a couple of mistakes, like the fact I didn't have the train until halfway through the project.
This is all I had to work with for the majority of this project. One single car. By the time I got to the death roll, the single car would barely clear every single element. I mean, just look at this stall. It takes forever. Finally, my full train had arrived, and it was flying through the layout, to the point where I need to lower these elements. Even after identifying this issue, I still continued building, all the way to the truss, which broke.
So what are we lowering first? Well, this wave turn.
When we release the full train from this wave turn, you can see it has a bit of steam going over that stall. In order to fix this, I'm gonna lower the wave turn so that it barely clears it.
After I lower this, I'm gonna lower the overbank, death roll, and outer bank, so that every single element gets barely cleared. If you're worried about pacing though, here's the thing. The drop is what's gonna set the pacing. I'll do that on every element except the drop, because if it has steam over the first element, it'll continue to keep its steam through the others.
So we're ripping out all the track from here back. We're kind of RMCing the RMC.
With this bit done all the way up to that overbank, when you can get back to work on retracking. Based on a lot of the pictures I'm seeing online, this element looks different from a lot of different angles. So I'm not exactly sure what to do here, but I have an idea.
For flight 3219.
Yeah, so I went to go ride it. This didn't actually help, but it was fun, and here's that footage. Before I play that on-ride footage, I need to explain some things. Busch Gardens Tampa was actually my home park until I turned 11, and I went there at least every week. Here's an actual photo of me. And even as a kid, I still remember the original Gwazi. I even got one ride on it in 2014, and I remember hating it, but I got the credit. Anyways, this all brings us back to 2021 when I visited back to hopefully ride Iron Gwazi again. I'd scheduled it when they said, hey, we're opening this year, even though they're delayed in 2020. I missed the opening date by 2 months, and here's a photo in front of it closed. So this moment you're about to watch has been a long time coming.
This is the smallest jump on the ride.
I thought that was insane, but that was an early run of the day. I got some rides at night, and it was even crazier. It was insane. Anyways, I'm back now, and we've started track work again. Okay, I've gotten a ton of it done, up to the death roll even, but I just want to show you the height differences that have been achieved. New track, old track. About a foot of difference, and that's huge.
These trains are looking a bit ugly, so let me just... This is so much better. Underneath everything, we have our weights. We have AAAs clipped into the stock frames, and then tape screwed into the wheel assemblies to hold the AAs in. I never thought the cars looked very good with batteries sitting on top, and so this is what I've done to replace that. I also improved the braking system. It's just 2 fixed wheels now, and then the motorized one. And I'm back to building. We've got this valley all done, all the way to down here, and back up into the outer bank. Look at how much height we saved. Old track, new track, old track, new track. We saved about 2.5 feet of height simply by redoing all of this track work. It took forever, but this is huge. Perfect. From there, all I needed to do was bring the track back down under the stall and up into our truss lift system. So I'm done, right? I've gotten track work completed, and it works. Nope. We're breaking it into sections and moving it outside. Section 1 is done. Is it just me, or am I always filming at night? You can't even... Flash is on. Hey, look at this. First section, and I've delivered it out in a bunch of sections since then. Death roll, all of that. All I've got left to do is the sort of helix right here, and the outer bank, which will go over here. It's the next day. All the parts are out. There's just some final assembly. I need to put some tubing back on there. But also, my concrete froze. So now I can... Ow. Sorry, I'll get back to work. So it's all done and assembled. But there's a small issue. And that's that it doesn't work. It could be because of the unevenness of the ground, how cold... The only solution I can think of is to make the trains heavier, which means the whole thing about not putting batteries on the top, or throwing that out the window. The train is now 3 times heavier, and the structure flexes a lot more, but it works. Something kind of funny though, when the train returns to the station, it'll do this. While that's not ideal, it's manageable. That wasn't the only problem caused by the uneven ground. The tubing is now not really as connected. The track is expanded by around 1 inch somehow in the process, but that's why I keep all my splices in a bag. Problem solved. We've got splices here and here. And we also have one on the middle tube, but it's looking good. So now it's just final filming time, right? Ha ha ha, that's a funny idea. But nope, it decided to snow. I thought, hey, that looks pretty cool outside. I'll take a picture and then I'll come back later and do the filming. Oh, it melted too fast. So now I have this picture. I'll just use it as a thumbnail, maybe. And my coaster's all wet and I don't want to get the bearings wet. So I just have to wait. So I thought that was pretty bad. And then nature said, hey, remember wind? This sucks. Update. I have conclusively concluded, wait, the wind is my new sworn enemy. You know how it was gonna be like a quick fix because the lift hill fell over? Ha ha ha. Not anymore. Outer Banks in shreds. Oh my goodness. I need to take a break from this whole thing. So that's what I did. I took a break. Not from everything, just from this. I rediscovered some old hobbies, longboarding and simply enjoying the world beyond my basement. I sat down at a piano and learned how to play a new song. I even followed through on one of my dumb video ideas. Stepping back wasn't giving up. It was exactly what I needed to come back stronger. And now, after all that, I rebuilt. Not just the coaster, but my excitement for the project as a whole. And in the end, I think it turned out even better than before. In the end, the roller coaster stopped working. Looking back at this whole project, it's been a journey. One full of challenges, setbacks, and a whole lot of rebuilding. But every piece of track, every support, every fix I've made along the way made it stronger. And honestly, I think that's what makes it worth it. Because in the end, it's not just about the final product. While it's cool and all, I think what really matters is everything it took to get here.